Adolescence isn't just a time in our lives, it's a state of mind. It's a time when we have to navigate entirely new experiences and can begin to make the right and the wrong choices. In Canada, the leading cause of death for 16 to 25-year-olds is road crashes. Alcohol and drugs are a factor in about 55% of those crashes. Across all ages, almost 60% of fatal crashes involve alcohol and/or drugs, crashes that are entirely preventable, which means hundreds of lives that could be saved if the right choices are made. MADD Canada's middle and high school program is an educational tool designed to empower students to make the right choices at a time in their life when they're most at risk of reckless behavior. In a compelling and powerful 1-hour presentation, students watch a fictional retelling of the kind of real trauma that results from impaired driving. Created specifically with today's youth in mind, the films reflect the attitudes and behaviors of teen life in Canada.
The show was really hard-hitting.
It was really impactful, and it's still in my head.
And the show was just shocking.
It really opened my eyes. Today when we were watching the video, I think a lot of people were fairly impacted by it. I saw a couple of people crying.
Like, it's more than statistics, it's stories, and you hear people's stories and you hear their emotion and you realize how much your actions can affect people.
Paired with this narrative are stories from people who have lived these tragedies, survivors and victims of impaired driving, who offer heartbreaking testimony of its devastating effects.
I hope one day to not be in pain and to be able to work and support myself and be independent again and not need to count on other people for help all the time.
New to the program this year is a guided interactive audio experience that directly engages students to navigate the kinds of difficult choices they might face in an impaired driving scenario. The MADD Canada School Program is a comprehensive educational resource that comes with a youth manual, posters, and an educator's guide to help teachers initiate meaningful discussions with students after the presentation.
I think the emotions hit home right after the assembly when they come back to class and they've just seen it. That is when the dialogue happens.
I think it empowers them to be able to speak up to each other because they have heard that same message.
MADD Canada has been delivering this program since 1994. For us, it's the idea of changing generational thinking. Do these school assembly programs make a difference? They do, no question.
I would recommend it 100%. It is one of the most effective assemblies I've ever seen.
Students leave the presentation having learned practical lessons that save lives. Never drive impaired. Never get into a vehicle with an impaired driver. Always plan ahead. And call 911 to report suspected impaired drivers. Let's help today's youth make the right choices. Help us prevent thousands of deaths and injuries. Help us save lives. Join MADD Canada in the fight against impaired driving. Call 1-800-665-MADD or visit us online at madd.ca.